We are all British citizens. We lived in England. My daughter first left England to move for her father's job. We were married, and we were only there based on a work permit which was attached to his job. We chose to put our daughter into an English international school because we knew that it wasn't going to be a permanent move. So when we moved there, was no joint bank account opened. There was a bank account for him and him only, and there was one bank card, which I had no access to. I didn't have my own access to any money at this point. Later, that's when the drinking probably got worse, I would say. So as I said, he would drink until the early hours of the morning. And then I was so frightened what he would do, I wouldn't be able to sleep because of that. So I would stay up until he would come to bed. But then he would come in and sexually assault me. So I thought, I can't live like this. So I told him I want a divorce. And he said, you'll have to leave. You're here on my work permit. As soon as I contact authorities, you will lose your work permit and you'll have to go back to England. So I suggest you go back to England with our daughter. So he booked the flights for me and my daughter to go back to England. He drove us to the airport. He didn't pay for the flights. He wouldn't give me any money to leave. My family in England had to send money to pay for the flights. But they ended up coming out of his card, so it wasn't like I ran away and he didn't know about it. He was the one that told us to go. And then when I was back, after a few days, it was, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? I need to know when you're coming back. I was like, I don't know yet. I'd barely seen my family. And he started getting more and more irritated by the fact that as soon as I was home, and he was like, don't talk to any of your friends. Be careful what you say to your friends. He didn't want me talking to any of my friends too much, getting their opinions, because he was afraid that, of course, if I shared too much, they would have their own opinions on what he's doing to you isn't right. So because I wouldn't do as I was told and go with what he wanted to do, he ended up getting really mad and telling me, don't come back. And this was all because he could never communicate face to face or over the phone. Everything was in text message form. So I had all of these messages from him saying, don't come back and you have to leave, all of this. So what was I going to do? And then shortly after, a few weeks later, it was, when are you bringing my daughter back? When are you bringing my daughter back? And that's when it started. He was like, if you're not going to bring my daughter back, I'm going to go to the police. And that's when he started to threaten me. And everybody around me, all my family, were like, don't be ridiculous. He told you to go. You're British citizens. There's no way. Nothing's going to happen to you. So we just continued. And I was like, look, I don't know what you want me to do. I couldn't go back in that situation anyway. My mum and dad were like, you can't go back there, because if you go back there, he could just make you homeless. And what are you going to do? And then one day I got a knock at the door and I was served with papers. And then the police came and served me with a location order, took my passport, took my daughter's passport, and they interviewed me. They interviewed my daughter, and I was just crying a lot at this point. I was like, I've never had any dealings with the police before. This is shocking to me that this is happening. I enrolled her back into the same school 16 months prior, same classmates, same teachers, and no one's hidden her. I told him the address we were staying at, but still we were served with the location order and the passports were taken. And it was just horrifying for everybody. All my family was just shocked. So anyway, after court we returned with protective measures. So he did. He paid for my rent for 3 months, and he paid for the school until then. But the protective measures, when they came at me with them, I was like, this is not enough. I can't go back on this. What am I going to do after 3 months after this rent? So I don't have the right to work. I don't have the right to study. I don't fit any category for a visa, not even refugee. I'm just invisible here, Really, I don't exist, which means I can't get any benefits at all to help me pay my rent. My life here, my rent is paid for by my family in England, who are just hoping and praying that the judge will decide that it's okay to come home, because how can I maintain my rent?